Hi everyone and a very warm welcome back to WARNO. Today we are once again in the Feb Monthly Tournament from SD League. We are in round 4 and we are watching a game with Blitz-war and Wero. Please excuse the fact Blitz-war has changed its name, but Blitz-war is on the left in blue as the 8th, and over on the right in red we have Wero playing as the 79th Tank Division. Both players going with those choppers filled with recon units rushing to the front. A10 coming in here for Blitz-war though, very effective against those choppers because of its slow speed. Has managed to take out both choppers, but the Spetsnaz group have survived. Osa here engaging on the Black Hawk, but A10 coming in for the Osa. A10 gets the kill. MiG-31, all 4 missiles away, and all 4 missiles miss. That's going to be very disappointing for that MiG-31. That is some really bad random number generation there. Milan getting a shot off here. Misses though. So this map is a little bit different when one of the players doesn't have forward deployment. If someone at Wero side has forward deployment, they tend to be able to get into this side of the forest and therefore are able to contest this zone straight away. In this situation, we're seeing more of a balance. So Wero is in control here, but Blitz-war is in control there. Blitz-war has a YouTube, by the way, and I will make sure to put that link in the description. A little bit of early engagement from a Bradley here. T80 in already. Good spread of units, not a huge amount of units on the map. Both of these sides, or both of these divisions, have quite expensive units. Easy kill for the Tortu there. But yes, with them having quite expensive units, you tend to get a good spread across the map, but not a huge amount of units. Whereas with some divisions, you get lots of cheap infantry in on this map. An interesting change in the recent versions of the game is that we're seeing more use of these big tanks like the T-80s coming out fairly early, being very strong and very important for pushing. We've sort of had a phase of the early access where infantry were king. Everything was about infantry and pushing with infantry and controlling areas with infantry. And we're starting to see that that's shifting with the balance corrections now, and we're getting more of the tanks coming into it, the tanks being part of pushing, which I think is really nice, because it's sort of given them a new lease of life. Because there was a period where tanks were just so easy to pop, it was hardly worth bringing them in. They feel a little bit more sturdy now. A10 coming in again. What's it going for this time? Something in the middle. Oh. MiG-31 comes in and gets the kill. MiG-31 actually getting its shots off that time and meeting. 30mm grenade launcher engaging on the military police down here. Working on getting the cohesion down there, and it does seem to be actually doing damage to the forces, though. Looks like they're losing 1 squad member per volley. Metis joining in the fight there as well, with the BMP-1 giving them some support with their capabilities and cohesion. Metis well within range to be hitting that M113A3. But they are not firing their missiles at it. But they should be well within range. That's really strange. Sorry, I'm just going to zoom in. I don't understand. I mean, that vehicle is firing at them. They should be able to fire back at that vehicle. Something's not right there. They should be firing their missile. Fighting Falcon coming in here? I'm not sure why. That's a bit weird. Testing for air defense, maybe? Could be called in there. Oh! I see missiles going for it from an Osa there. That's been called out now. More units moving into this area for Blitz-war. But I'm really curious what's going on down here. T-80 engaging on forces here, trying to kill that M113A3 as well. That M113A3 seems to be indestructible. That T-80 has had a couple of shots at it now and is missing every single one. But that T-80, you know, it should have hit. This is really weird. And the fact that the Metis never fired at it. It's like it's in some secret ditch that you can't see. That's really weird. Thunderbolt anti-tank coming in. Probably going to go for the T... Oh, never mind. Thunderbolt is annihilated by the MiG-31s. MiG-31's getting fired at by the Eyehawks, though. Will escape, but heavily damaged. Will need a long time to repair. Some skirmishing still going on in the middle here. I can't believe that M113 is still alive. I don't quite grasp how it's surviving being shot at by that tank so often. There we go. Finally, it's dead. I'm convinced there's some kind of ditch there that it was sat in, or some kind of... I don't know. That was really weird. Really weird. I don't feel like the T-80 could roll that badly that many times. Bit of contesting going on here now. Wero getting closer to this point. Should be able to contest this soon. T-62's coming in at the back there. Blitz-war being a little bit pushy up here as well, though. So Wero will need to defend that back point. Both players only have one command in currently. But right now, Wero seems in the better position in terms of forces down here. But then, on the other hand, Blitz-war seems better up here. It'll depend who can get a command into the middle, really. Who's willing to spend the points on pushing into the other point and risking the defense. Blitz-war puts a marker down on the command vehicle from Wero. Wonder if we could see some artillery coming in a minute. Random LRS squad sat back there. Not sure why. I wonder if they fell out of a chopper or something. T-80 engaging on the Abrams. Spetsnaz obviously able to see that. ITV engaging on that T-80. That T-80 was coming across to get that Abrams as well. Aha! Artillery piece in. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the artillery piece to come in. That'll be an attempt to snipe that command vehicle, I'm sure. These tanks arriving into the middle now, along with some Sapri RPOs. And there's that 30mm, yeah, 30mm grenade launcher. Nice spreader units here. Not a lot there for Wero still. T-80 is in a good position here if it can see when that appears. Oh, they're engaging each other. The Jaeger Aufkel can see it. Abrams gets the first shot off. T-80 reversing. There's another T-80 pushing up here, though. There goes the artillery on the command in the centre. Will Wero realise and shift it? He is indeed moving it out of the way. T-80 UD being called in here to deal with that Abrams. Going to be some skirmishing here. It does look like Wero has the bigger force here. Certainly with the aid of those tanks. I will need to be careful with that Tor 2 running up the back there. That said, that Tor 2 is within range of those tank guns, so it will get return fire when it launches a missile. One T-80 down to the Abrams. We'll need to wait till that T-80UD arrives. A-10HE bomber coming in again. Will the MiG-31s be repaired is a question. 2 T-80UDs coming in. Big spender, Wero. Big spender. Osa engaging on that. And the Cub. Cub gets the kill. And the M113A3 causing all kinds of problems right now. Those Strelky should be in range to hit that. They can't see it. That's why they're not firing at it. They cannot see it currently. Only the Sapri RPO can see it. T-80 BVK command tank coming in. I was wondering when we were going to see one. Someone had to bring in a command for the centre sooner or later. Got more Abrams coming in at this side. That's probably a good shout to try and counter what's being brought in by Wero here. Wero has made it across to this area. Abrams has come in. And to Bradley. The main thing is these things want to be at maximum range to do the most damage possible to the T-62s. Especially the Bradley with that TOR-2. Artillery once again going on the same spot. Abrams took a hit from a missile there. Still a little bit of skirmishing down here. The T-80UDs engaging on that Abrams. Command tank coming in to here as expected, and we'll go into this corner where it seems most secure right now. Wero making good progress here. Mi-24P coming in. I assume that's to deal with the tank and the Bradley. There isn't a lot of air. Oh, there's some Eyehawks at the back here. But their range against choppers isn't amazing. 3,100. So, let's see. Yeah, not going to be ideal. Chopper will have to get pretty close to the front lines. So, gotta be careful with that T-62. That is a very lucky T-62. I'm surprised that Abrams didn't kill it there. Another Abrams coming in down the bottom now as well. Command tank's nearly here. Currently, obviously, a slight lead to Blitz-war of 100 to 18, but I think Wero will quickly overtake that. There's a good push going on here, though, for Blitz-war. He may well get into this point. Wero rushing those tanks back and the chopper to try and provide some defense. He has lost 2 of those T-62s, though, by the look of it. Artillery now being used to hit these troops at the front. T-80 moving into position, getting ready to go in the front point. T-80's already en route to defend this area. Good shout by Wero. Fighting Falcon in now. I assume coming in to try and deal with some of the choppers. Here come the MiG-31s, and it's dead. Took fire from the Osa, the Cub. And the MiG-31s. That is a lot of firepower to dodge. T-80UDs dishing out the punishment here. The poor Abrams going against two of the T-80UDs. Although one of them is not firing at the Abrams, to be fair. One of them continues to fire at the Jaeger Aufkel. Which, to be fair, it's the only recon there, so it's not a bad thing to shoot at. T-80s being used to good effect here to stave off these Abrams. This command still not moved into that center point. I am surprised. I was expecting it to be +2 already. Pivad's on that chopper now. T-80 engaging on the Bradley. Had to smoke though. Y24P coming in again. The other one damaged, swinging around as well. That MI8 is down. Just under 23 minutes left of this game. I feel like Wero's in a good position, but has just not remembered to move his command into there. Or he could just be waiting because he's concerned about what's at the other side. Obviously, he doesn't know there's not a lot there. The advantage of observing. Seed jet in. Does engage on the Eyehawk, but will die. Still gets the kill. Seed missiles are fire and forget. T-80s here just engaging on those toes at the front here. Unlikely to finish the job, but certainly scared it off. Smoke going in here from some mortars for Blitz-war. Good spread of tanks defending here for Wero. And a T-80U coming in as well. Cobra mopping up around the back there. Wero has managed to get infantry all the way up here. And here come the tanks. And there's the command tank gone into the centre finally. +2 to Wero. He will quickly make up that 100 points. Engineer's Flash immediately taking lots of hits from those tanks. Engineer's Dragon also taking fire now. Getting a nice hit on the BMP though. Abrams and Bradley pushing up too. 2 Abrams, in fact. 1 T-80 is down. 1 Abrams is down. Shots going in against the Abrams and the Bradley, I think, there. Abrams is down. Plenty of damage done to the T-80UDs as well, but both Bradleys dead here. Good defensive wall being built up here for Wero as well. He hasn't forgotten about that point. Recon choppers coming in at the top there. Oh, Blitz-war has moved his command out of the point. Currently +4 to Wero. I assume he's moving it up into a safer position. In fairness, that T-80 BVK is in a bit of a precarious position, sat right at the edge there, engaging on enemy units. Will potentially be a reasonably easy kill for, or it would have been if the TOW 2 could see it first. Unfortunately for Blitz-war, the T-80 has line of sight. With the aid of the Spetsnaz group by the looks of it. Makes short work of that. Chopper now in to help mop up those infantry. There's an I-Hawk over here, but it is out of missiles, and there's no other anti-air in at the moment. Wero will have free reign with that chopper for the moment. Wero actually pushing out of this point a little bit, moving up those recon infantry again, while still pushing here at least a little bit. Wero's back to +2, currently at 280 points and counting, with 18 minutes left of this game. I suspect in an ideal world he would like to get across the point and take out the command of Blitz-war. Blitz-war still being reasonably aggressive up here, keeping the pressure on, which is good. Seed coming in again, going for the pivads. Misses the first shot, gets the second shot though. Swinging back around past the I-Hawk. The I-Hawk is out of ammo, but the Seed is also out of missiles anyway. TOW 2 coming in there, but is killed before it even drops off its forces. And there's a surrender. About double the kills for Wero in that game there. He did have more on the map at the end. Commiserations to Blitz-war. Really well fought. That's a very challenging map. And I think we would all agree generally that the player on Wero's side, it just has the better position there because they have that forest to walk through. It is a lot easier for them to push in to that point. Whereas the other way around, if you only own the back half of the bigger point, you have to push across open ground to get back into that forested area. So it is a challenge. Kills and losses there, obviously other than the tanks doing very well. There wasn't anything too stand out. The A10 was really MVP there for getting those three kills earlier, the two choppers and the OSA. But nothing really stand out in that game. Let's hop straight into game number 2. Welcome back to game number 2 between Blitz-war and Wero. Wero this time on the left in red, playing as the 39th this time. Over on the right in blue, we have Blitz-war playing as the 82nd Airborne. So does have those forward deployment troops, so is already all over Bravo. Alpha, on the other hand, will not reach Alpha quite as quickly as Wero can with those Razvedka recon units. Quick cap of the back points for both players. Slight advantage currently to Blitz-war as he got there first with that airborne command. Apache coming in early, getting some pain down on those infantry. Though is right over those units now, so will take shots. Flash engineers arriving and being deployed immediately. Will get into these buildings. Will put up a bit of a fight. Sapri arriving for Wero as well though. And a grenade launcher. Tanks arriving here. Getting some early shots off on these military police at the back here. Good spreader units up here. But Wero hasn't sent anything up there, really. There's a T-62. He hasn't even sent any recon up there. He's put everything into this bottom point, which is going to prove very unpleasant, I think, for Blitz-war, because all of Wero's expense, basically, has gone into this. all of his cash has gone into pushing this point. He only has the one command in, as did Blitz-war, but he hasn't even pushed that command up here. He's focusing completely on fighting. Unfortunately, Blitz-war already in a difficult position. He has lost all of those forward deployment forces, so they will hold 1 point each. Has lost that jet that came in as well. More engineers flash coming in here. Will go straight to the front, but I think this is going to be a bit too piecemeal. There's simply too many forces there for Wero. Anything that comes in one at a time is just going to get ripped apart. I suspect that Blitz-war will change the pathing of that unit and move it elsewhere. The question is, where does Wero go for here? Does he now push up to the top point, or does he try and push to this back point? He could do either, or does he just go defensive and just hold this point? Currently still +2 to Blitz-war. No command coming in at the moment for Wero. And no movement of that command at the back point there. Recon chopper now being called in at the top. Recon Humvee is being pushed up here, but now Wero pivoting to have some defensive forces and recon up there. Airborne coming in around the back here, but taking fire from the Mi-8 rocket attack chopper. Motorstrelky very likely going to finish the job. Motorstrelky missed their shot actually, but there's just so much supporting fire from the rocket attack chopper and then the BMP-2s that came in. Engineers flashed, pulled out here instead rather than going into the point. Well spotted by Blitz-war there. It is sometimes easy to forget when you concentrate on something else that you called something in at a particular position, which is no longer under your control. I've done that myself plenty of times. Tor 2 coming in to form a good defensive line up here. There's a Stinger here to engage on that chopper. Should be in range now. Nice hit. Does 4 damage. Stinger doesn't have the most damage ever. Does 5. But will only do 4 per hit because there is a little bit of armor here. Humvee finishes the job. More recon being called in up there by Wero. And some infantry as well. Wero being a little bit assertive, pushing out into this set of buildings here. More reinforcements coming in for Blitz-war though. Still no command in here. Wero has finally called one in, but it's just trundling along there. This will neutralize, but at the moment, as it stands, Blitz-war obviously in the better position. Blitz-war calling his troops out early, getting them out to try and get into some of these buildings, I think. A little bit of skirmish up here with that recon. But Blitz-war with a nice head start on points, 330 and counting. Wero appearing to settle into more of a defensive positioning for Alpha. With Blitz-war pushing in again with some airborne gunners, engineers and the military police at the bottom there. Ideally, Blitz-war would like to get back into that point. The other option obviously was to push all the way through to Charlie at the back, but getting up there can be difficult, and obviously with all of these recon in now, it's going to be very obvious. And obviously choppers being brought in to help protect that area as well now. Abrams on station as well. That will be helpful, especially against these T-62s. It's a much better tank. 17 front armor compared to 10 front armor, with 16 damage compared to 17. So this should technically be a one-hit kill on these tanks. assuming you can get in range to fire at them. Oh, there's an Abrams up here as well, which is being engaged by the rocket chopper, which will do it cohesion damage and a little bit of damage overall. Oh, Abrams here immediately pops its smoke and veers off. This Abrams doesn't have range on that. The Abrams should be able to tear apart that T-62. No recon here at the moment for Blitz-war. Now Wero's spread out. He's sending forces up towards this point, coming in from the side. SU-25AT coming in to try and get the tank there. That tank is now badly damaged. I think the T-62 got a good shot on it. Finishes the job. AT jet may take out the other Abrams, and it is killed. Avenger does get a couple of shots off at the SU-25 though. It's an unfortunate loss of both those tanks there. Lots of forces pushing down here for Wero. He's being quite aggressive, and he's got forces pushing up from the bottom as well. He's trying to squeeze Blitz-war. Blitz-war bringing in forces down the bottom, so he can also potentially push the bottom here. There's not a huge amount in here. If he can get all of these infantry into the buildings, he will cause issues for Wero, but he needs to get into the town itself. Getting caught outside will be an issue, and this tank is going to provide good cover. Those military police immediately at risk from that tank. And I suspect Blitz-war, he may have realised he has got his troops out now. I was going to say he may be busy focused up here. Blitz-war has managed to hold the bottom part of this point. Spread out up here for Wero, so not pushing quite as hard as he looked to be. Puma military police getting ripped apart by that T-62. Apache coming in to try and engage on that though. Oh, what's this at the back? An Uragan firing at this area here. Will get hits on that infantry, but Blitz-war saw it coming and has pulled his forces back. Should get a stun on this tank. If that Apache was close enough, he could probably kill that tank because of the main cannon having that 2 penetration, but he needs to be up close and personal with it. Blitz-war holding here well. Needs to try and get into this point though. Reinforcements. Lots of reinforcements coming in here now, including repair. A couple of Sheridans coming in here. Will be good fire support, but can't take much damage. Very weak front armor. Just 2. So will be killed by any tanks in here. Airborne gunners and engineers pushing up against these Sapri, really seemingly struggling to finish the job. I think they're on attack move rather than just run. Sometimes with these guys, it's better to just run them after the enemy so that they sort of catch up and not stop to fire every few seconds. Blitz-war will be aware of that. He's likely just doing this so he can concentrate on other units. Because if you're doing that, you kind of have to babysit them. Whereas if you just do an attack move order, they'll do their own thing. Rocket attack chopper, though, will make short work of any infantry in that area. Still a reasonable defense of this point here, and well out in the lead in terms of points for Blitz-war right now. More airborne coming in as well. Now, Wero is pushed back here. He's back in the town. His tanks are pushed back. I see a missile was going in there. I don't know if that was actually going for the command, possibly, down the road. Cobra was engaging units up here, but has had to pull back. The Mi-24 anti-air choppers coming in. 3 more T-62s coming in the bottom here. Uragan is rearmed and ready to fire, I expect. A little bit of engagement here. T-62s rolling back up to deal with the Sheridans. The Sheridans obviously easily killed by T-62s, but I think it was actually the BMP-2 that got the kills there. Again, the recon, real advantage here for Wero. Having recon up close and personal at the front line there just allows him to see stuff long before Blitz-war will be able to. All these reinforcements coming in against those engineers now. These engineers being pulled back. Obviously, there are vehicles here that the engineers just can't deal with. Stingers coming in. There are some airborne here. If they were in here, I could see the airborne doing a good job against these vehicles, but they do need to be in the forest. More Sheridans coming in. Quite a cheap tank as well in the grand scheme of things. Only 60 points. But no real match for those T-62s. They're more akin to a light IFV like the BMPs. Obviously, BMP-2 there has 4 front armor, so actually has more front armor than the Sheridans. Just something to bear in mind here. Sheridan's main cannon is a heat round, I believe, rather than kinetic as well. So, in terms of its damage output, it will always do 14, but it's much closer range than some of the other vehicles. Blitz-war still managing to hold pretty well up here. And a good force down here, but it's going to get pushed back. Unfortunately, these engineers just no match for those vehicles. Sheridan's being pushed around the top there. Should pose a significant threat to the BMPs, really. As long as they can get close enough. What happened to the T-62s? There's 3 T-62s down here. But I think the T-62s that were at the front are both dead. I think they came face to face with the military police and the airborne. 3 more T-62s being called in. Sheridan's engaging on the BMP-2. BMP-2, I think, has actually killed one of the Sheridans already. Airborne Dragons being pushed across the middle of the map here are now retreating because they're taking fire. And obviously these BMP-2s are going to move up and open fire on them from the side as well. Is risky going across open terrain. This is a good shout. Some big Abrams coming in at the bottom again. Though needs to be careful because at close range the T-62s are still going to do a lot of damage to them. And really this whole area is close range combat. And there are going to be a lot of T-62s in there in the grand scheme of things. Airborne gunners coming in. Not a lot of movement here. A little bit of skirmishing in the centre. Wero just keeping the pressure up there. I think, you know, forcing Blitz-war to consider bringing in reinforcements there. "24 minutes left of this game. And it could still go either way. Both players have a good spread of units across the map. Most of the forces focused down here for both players. Blitz-war just needs a lucky break to be able to clear up down here and somehow get into this town. He's doing a good job of defending up here. Now, Wero is managed to break through here, but the Cobra should be able to deal with these units pretty easily. Oh, SU-27S coming in though to get that Cobra. Cobra is down. That's a problem. The Apache still probably has some weaponry left. Still has some Hellfires. Could be the Apache that was brought in there that killed those tanks at the front, actually. I didn't see it fire, but that's possibly it. Eagle coming in. Taking fire from Osas there. And oh, that's an unfortunate loss. Sometimes you get really lucky with the F-15. It just dodges everything. Napalm coming in. I think it fired at that. I think it dropped a bomb here. It's really hard to tell sometimes whether something's dropped bombs, but I think it dropped a bomb here, but I'm not sure if it killed anything. Really unsure there. A couple of expensive jet losses, unfortunately, for Blitz-war. Managing to push across the middle here. Doing some damage to the BMP-2s. Obviously, the Bradley very efficient there, and the Sheridan assisting. Unfortunately, is now up against 3 T-62s. Bradley will be able to get long-range shots on them, but Bradley is well within range of those T-62s. Abrams coming in will be able to do some damage to the T-62s, though. There we go. Immediately taking it down to 1 pip of health. Second shot gets the kill. Cluster coming in. Has dropped on those tanks, but the tanks are moving. Should get at least 1 kill. Yeah. But again, did lose another jet. Still these 3 tanks sat at the back here. They are being pushed up now. Gunners here going up against these vehicles. The gunners do have the law, so can take out those. The Sapri are at long range, so aren't using their satchel charges, which is good for the gunners. But gunners obviously outnumbered right now. Airborne engineers have moved up to assist, though. Abrams taking a bit of fire, but are intact. An attempt to push across here by these forces, but all those T-62s are rolling up on them right now. And Wero has made progress at the top there. He's got both of those recon units in. One from the middle and one from the top. Have managed to get into this town now. T-80 BVK pushing up on these gunners. The Mi-24 is engaging on the gunners. Gunners engaging on the Mi-24. Tank engaging on the gunners as well. I suspect the poor gunners won't be long for this world. And that command tank will get into that point. Blitz-war trying desperately to get in here now. Apache once again taking fire from the Su-27. Unfortunately, Blitz-war has lost a lot of units here. He's got very few left down at the bottom. He's lost another Abrams down there. Command is now in that back point for Wero. He is currently +2. It will take him a little while to catch up. But I feel that there is not a lot of blue left on this map. Eagle coming in here. Not sure what it was going for. Taking a lot of fire. Is lucky to escape. Osa finishes the job in the middle with that Apache. Another cluster coming in here for Blitz-war. There's 2 Osas there. We'll engage on it. Osas get the kill. Bombs have landed, but will not kill the command tank. Command tank is pushing up and engaging those airborne. T-80 here getting very close to those airborne with the AT-4, but the AT-4 is actually depleted. Tor-2 pushing up here. We're probably going to struggle to be in a good position to get that tank. Razvedka Sapari going up against the Tor-2. Will be reasonably efficient with those satchel charges if they can get close. Tor-2. Oh, the T-80 smoked. Tor-2 is annihilated by that satchel charge. Not looking good here for poor Blitz-war. It's been a struggle of a game. Wero just doing a really good job at close range with his tanks and stuff in this game. And the control of the forest down here, I think, made a bit of a difference in terms of just the amount of forces lost trying to get them round here. And then up here, Just the slow pressure from each side. And there's the surrender. Commiserations, Blitz-war. Really well played, though. But again, about double the kills to losses there for Wero. Just his positioning with his tanks and stuff was just better at the bottom there. And obviously, the recon really did help. Kills and losses. The MI-24 was doing a good job there. BMP-2 did a pretty good job. Cub got a few kills. Tanks, as expected, did get an Abrams there. T-80 got a few kills, but nothing too exciting. What got the kills on all of the Abrams? There was, of course, the A-10, or the anti-tank, sorry, the Su-25 anti-tank that got on the Abrams as well. BMP-2 got an Abrams, I assume with a missile. Over on the other side, military police were doing alright. The Apache got loads of kills, so that did get those two T-62s at the front. So I missed those getting hit with the missiles, but they did do the damage there. Bradley did a good job as well, got quite a few kills. Good games, guys. Commiserations to Blitz-war. I think you just had a rough time of it there against Wero, especially in that second game. He just had those tanks really up close and personal with the Abrams. But thanks for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe, tune in. There will be more during the week.